So today we are talking about Kwikset levers. Let me make sure this is going to work because I'm going to be holding it up. Kwikset lever handle. Blah. Nowadays, most of them are going to be Smartkey, as evidenced by that little thing. This was in a house, and we got calls because of a problem. First problem was the key was hanging up real bad. After yanking the core out of it and putting in a temporary or a core that was still good, we can see, and if you're not too familiar with Kwikset, this actually isn't the key that fits this, but there is normally a plastic cap that snaps in here that kind of holds that sidebar down. And if we look really close, no, not lock, zoom, there we go. If we look really close, the sidebar is pretty much screwed up. So we are going to zoom back out over there. Put a new core in, keyed it up. The key started working perfectly, of course, but locks the lever, and unlocks the lever. So I was like, hey, great, it's mostly fixed. I'm not sure I like this tripod for this angle. But then as I started messing with it some more, your key on these will turn to the left to lock, to the right to unlock. And as I was fiddling with it after I got it back on the door, I was turning it left, turning it right, turning it left, turning it right, turning it left, turning it right. And at some point, it failed. And of course, I can't get it to do it now. But basically, the core kept turning. It's not doing it now, which is kind of weird. But it did it right before I started filming. So there is definitely something wrong with the inside, and what typically it is the shaft has a bent little piece on it or a broken little piece, and it lets you turn the key all the way around. And of course on Smartkey, when you go and you turn the key all the way around, it bugs out and it can cause all kind of problems. So the first thing I want to talk about with this Kwikset lever handle is how to take it off to rekey it. Let's assume that you are able to lock and unlock the door. So with the door locked, on the inside you'll see your standard set screw, and most people are going to be like, okay, understandable, I can figure that out. Uses a 3/32 Allen wrench. Some of the earlier Kwikset did use metric, so it's a good idea to have a metric set. If you go from 1/8 inch to 5/32 to, or 5/64 to 7/64, and none of them fit, then you've got the real early version that used metric. So be prepared for that, but now most of them are standard, thank goodness. And to get this off, you would simply unscrew the Allen screw just like you would anything else. And when you unscrew the screw, it's actually a reverse thread. You would unscrew it just like you know, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, so lefty-loosey. But if you will notice, when it's tight, the screw is sticking out. And when you tighten it down, or I'm sorry, loosen it, the thread actually goes that way, which allows you to slip this off. And there's our set screw. We can see if we tighten it, it comes out. And basically it's just going through that hole right there and holding it in. Let's go ahead and put this back on. So if you keep screwing it out, it'll come all the way out. And I'll go ahead and show you the screw. This is a kind of a specialty Allen screw, so it is not one that you want to lose. Definitely. In fact, if you get called out to fix a broken one of these, if the screws are still in good shape, that is definitely a Kwikset part you want to hold on to. But I'm going to go ahead and screw this back in for right now. And put this back on. And righty tighty in a way, which actually it's righty loosening, but same deal. So anyway, going back to this, if you were just here to rekey one of these and you walk up to the door and unlock it, you can insert, if you look on the outside cylinder, you will see no screw. You might see a screw, but that's because somebody thinks there's a screw missing there. What you really do is you insert, watch the tip of this, you insert the Allen wrench all the way through. And when you do that, then you loosen. We're loosening it. And you back it out until it stops. Pull your Allen wrench out, and that will allow you to pull the handle off. This cylinder does not have a clip holding it in because we have misplaced that clip somewhere. But normally in this channel right here on both sides, there is a simple spring-loaded clip that you just push off with a pair of, whatever you can get on there to slip it off, and then your core will come out. On a side note, when you're putting this back together on the door, to make sure the keyhole is right side up, if you get the lock and it's the wrong hand, then all you have to do is turn it that way and slip it back in, and there you have your reverse-handed lock. Now, I will note, if we look in here, where our Allen wrench was going through, it's wrong side. Going through. This is what it's doing. When you're tightening it, it's actually extending that set screw, which again goes through the hole of the lever. When you back it out all the way, that allows the lever to go back on. So in essence, what it's doing there, tighten, holds the lever on, and loosen, takes the lever off. Now I will say, while you have this screw in instead of out, you are unable to turn this mechanism because that screw is locked into the post that I will show you about here shortly. So once you get it back on the door, you're not going to be able to do your turning of it. You're not going to be able to turn the cylinder until you re-extend that screw, and then you're allowed to lock and unlock it. So if the scenario is where you can't turn the key and you can't unlock it, what has happened is this screw is extended too far in. Like all of a sudden you get a call, hey, I can't, my button on the inside won't lock or unlock the door. What's going on? So we have it extended, and it's in the lock. You know, your lock's just like it is, and your button works, turns back and forth, then gradually that screw starts backing. I gotta get it this way. So, and then your screw maybe casually starts unscrewing a little bit and starts backing off. And all of a sudden, you have trouble getting your knob to turn. So what that's doing is this post is trying to turn into that screw. So typically, if you have a Kwikset lock and all of a sudden you are not able to turn it anymore, or it won't lock from the inside or outside, and we'll put this key back in just to show you how it works. Oh. In, tighten, working, able to lock and unlock it like you're supposed to, but all of a sudden your screw here starts to get loose and your button gets really hard to lock and unlock. Say it backs out a little bit more. Back it out a little bit more, and bam, you can't lock it, you can't unlock it, and your key actually will not turn correctly either. So the easiest thing to do in that case, if you're able to get it into the unlocked position, then simply take your Allen wrench. Kwikset does send a really long version of this so that when you're working on the door, you don't have to worry about having a short Allen wrench. Oop, told you the cylinder's gonna come out until I find another clip. But with this really long Allen wrench, that lets you tighten it without worrying about hitting the handle. So basically, tighten it back down as firm as you can. Check it. Turn your knob inside and out. Turn your key left and right. And you should be good to go. However, if for some reason you can't get any of that to work, here's your backup method. Go to your inside handle, unscrew the set screw, which actually pushes it in so that you're allowed to slip this off. And then if you look around the circumference of the door, you won't see any screws, but you have to take a flathead screwdriver and carefully wedge it between the door and this plate and kind of pop it off. And you can see it is just a metal skin. So it's kind of hard to do, and it can put a little notch on the door, so I always recommend going underneath to do this so that it's not as visible. So if this was on the underside of the door, kind of get under there, push it between the wood of the door and that metal, and then that plate will come off. At that point, it is a simple matter of removing the screws, backing them out. Once they are far enough backed out, you're able to spring load your mechanism. It's spring loaded, so you can just turn it and lift it off. And once it's off the door, push your latch in to remove it, because otherwise it will not come off. If your latch is not pushed in, you'll be trying to yank it off the door. So simply push the latch and it freely comes off. Well, as freely as possible. That's how you do that. At that point, you need to remove this shaft right here. When you remove that shaft, normally you would use a Kwikset pickle fork, which I did not bring out here, but you do not need one of those. You can simply take a flathead screwdriver. And if we look at the spring cage right here, look at one side of it, there is a metal tab that you can press in. If you look at the other side, that metal tab is fixed. You cannot press it in. So go back to the side that you can press it in, which is on this side. See how it's springy? Can't really tell. But it is springy. So once you get that spring feel to it, you're going to want to press it in and hold it. I'm pressing in on that spring, and I guess I'm not pressing in on that spring enough. It's not a spring, it's a tab of metal that you're actually hitting there. So right there, I'm on that tab of metal. See, if I spring it, I'll let it go, that's springy. So if you get right on that tab and hold the pressure, and yank that out, and your cylinders, we're going to assume our cylinder's still in here. All right, now it's completely out of the way, so you should just be able to take your Allen wrench, run in there, and slip the knob off. And the reason why is because once this is in there, see, there is a hole in the side. So when it is turned to the locked position, your Allen wrench won't go through it. But when it's turned to the unlocked position, the Allen wrench is allowed to go through the hole. So that's why you cannot remove that screw when it's locked, because when it's unlocked it turns this way, when it's locked it turns that way. So here's your hole. So we have unlocked, or I'm sorry, locked. Well, okay, I'm sorry, that is unlocked. Unlocked, it'll allow to go through, and then you turn the key the other way, which turns it to there, and you can't unlock it. Hole is very tiny, it's not big enough for the right size Allen wrench to go through. And again, we see what happens when the Allen wrench. Now, one of the big questions I have come up is, what do you do when this strips out? What do you do when you go to put this in there and you simply cannot find the right size Allen wrench? Well, that's a toughie. I would normally say get a disposable, because we all have loose individual wrenches, and I would file it down into a point, file each one of the hex down a little bit, and I would basically come in with that angled and smack it until I can dig down into that screw and at least get it to turn one way or the other. And if we back the screw all the way out, we can see this one is simply just a regular Allen screw. So you can find these at any hardware store. So if you have any difficulty getting this out, once you do get it out, I highly recommend you go through the screw bins that you should have of common set screws and stuff, and make sure that you have a decent screw in there for next time. Alright, of course, to get it back together, with normal Kwiksets, this is chamfered. I'm going to look at this real quick and see what the problem is. See if we can see what the problem is. Why is it turning all the way? I don't know. There's some pretty heavy wear. Look at that wear right there. That may be it. If you see, that's kind of rounded off. Normally one of these little flags right here breaks off, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So this is just one of those mysterious things. Normally with Kwikset you can just push this back in, but this has a flat bottom, so you literally have to come back and press your spring in to get it. And then you can see when you press the spring, see how that little mechanism pushes out of the way. If I can get the spring, if I can get it to push in. There it goes. See that right there? Yep. So we're going to push that out the way. If I can. I'm going to put this down on the table to get my leverage. There we go. Alright, so it's in. Make sure it fully seats. And I'm going to go ahead and put the cylinder in just to finish up the video. Not that it's going to stay in there. Oh, and also you can rehand it. So it was this way. You can take the lever off one side and put on the other if you need to flip the hand. So doing it that way, that's the inside lever, or the outside lever if it needs to be. My phone storage is full. Okay, so obviously the screw's in the way here. So we need to back that screw off. Again, if this was turned the wrong way, you're not going to be allowed to turn it because the screw's in the way. So put it in. Put your lever on. Maybe this one may not be handable. They changed them so they're handable, so this may be the older version. Tighten it down. Once you tighten it down, put your lever back on by pushing on that thing. Take your interior trim, turn it with this devil bane. Ugh, I hate these. Let it go. Push it in. Tighten your screws down. Snap your cover plate back on, and again take that side and you can see the screw there, and you want to tighten it down, which again loosens it in a way because this one's reverse thread. Make sure it goes through that hole right. You may have to kind of whack on the hole to get that screw to come through fully. If you don't make sure it comes through, then you might yank the handle off. So there we have it, guys. Aside from the mysterious issue that's causing the key to turn all the way around in a circle, which it's not doing it now, but I promise it's doing it. So all that I'm keeping out of this is the core, because the core is in good condition. Everything else is toast. Farewell, Kwikset. Thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have a good one. Hold on, let's appreciate it. Let me scoot back over here. My little tripod. Y'all have a great day, and if you have any questions or comments, let me know, and if I can help you with anything, let me know. So y'all have a great one. Peace.